everyone, my name is Ann Mizzordi, and today I'm going to be doing a little reflecting over the 4 technology modules I completed in Design Studio this semester. Thinking back to the beginning of the course, I remember feeling a little overwhelmed after our initial Zoom meeting, but like everything else, you just have to start somewhere. So with very little background knowledge in design, I just jumped right in. I knew going into this that I wanted everything I did to somehow relate to what I do in my middle school Spanish classroom. I'm always eager to see how theory can be implemented in a real-life setting, and I'm definitely a pragmatist at heart. And while I love to think big, wild, and crazy, at the end of the day, practicality has to win to make it all work for me. My first module was the flipped classroom, which is something I've always been interested in implementing in my classroom anyway. I've considered the pros and cons of this model for quite a while, and I immediately gravitated towards the in-class flip, which was presented in the module activities. They seemed like a really practical way to address students not watching videos outside of class. In the first part of the module, I made 5 test videos using the EduCreations app on my iPad. It was free, which is a huge plus, and I found it very easy to navigate. As I created the videos, I tried to keep in mind something that was pointed out to us during our first Zoom meeting. A lot of technology is trial and error, and I tried to learn from each video and try something different and new each time. For the next part of the module, I created a screen capture video. This is my first time using Movie Maker, my first time making a video from a PowerPoint, and the first time uploading a video on YouTube. It was really fun adding the narrations and getting to use the new microphone I had purchased. In addition, I learned the immeasurable value of a good YouTube tutorial. And for the last part of the module, I created an in-class flipped lesson using a video I edited from YouTube and Edpuzzle. I got a great lesson in how to use Edpuzzle from a colleague, and I especially liked the different ways you could add questions to make the video more interactive. I was really pleased with the way this module turned out and excited to try out this lesson with my class this year. For the second module, I completed the introduction to HTML, CSS, and jQuery. I felt initially like I might have a little background as I was familiar with updating the teacher page on my school website. I was used to going in and adding links and pages and assignments, and I knew it would be more challenging than that, but who knew how much of a challenge this one was going to be. Since I'm required to use my school website, this module would be the only one I did not center around my class. I chose the theme of running. Well, as it turns out, I have absolutely no background knowledge in what it takes to actually create a website. Wow, was this an eye-opening experience. Looking at all those lines of code was a complete foreign language to me. This was absolutely the most frustrating and challenging experience of my educational life. The Linda videos and Code Academy tutorials were helpful, but I struggled to feel like I was really retaining much of anything. The W3 Schools website was an invaluable resource for me, and I relied on it to help me through. The module was a great lesson in trial and error and perseverance. In the end, the result was a very simplistic website that I built around my hobby of running. I was able to accomplish the necessary requirements of the module as well as add in a little extra element in the photo gallery. Clearly, no one's hiring me to do any web design in the near future, but knowing what it took to accomplish what I did made me quite proud and relieved. For the third module, I went from the most challenging task to the most fun. I absolutely loved the video editing module. As a person who's been involved in theater most of my life, the idea of getting to create and tell a story really hit home with me. I'd never worked with the video editing software before, but it was something I'd always wanted to try. This was like the perfect opportunity. For my movie, I was inspired to create my own version of a project my exploratory Spanish students complete, which is based on expressing what it is you like to do and don't like to do. They can present the information in any way they would like, and a few of my students had created their own movies to tell their stories, so I decided to try making my own using Windows Movie Maker. I began storyboarding my project and initially tried some storyboarding software, but found out that the low-tech method of just post-it notes all over my desk worked well for me. I had great fun enlisting my family to assist with the filming, especially when we went on location. And creating the green screen was especially interesting. I was able to download the VSDC video editor for free and found great tutorials on YouTube. In the end, I was able to add a PowerPoint slide to the titles in each page. I learned to add narrations and music and how to blend the two together, and I definitely would have added an extra lighting source for the green screen scenes, so I will remember that for next time. My final module was Adobe Illustrator. I had never used this type of software before, but I figured it couldn't be terribly difficult. I mean, after all, I survived the HTML module, didn't I? Yeah, not so fast. I completely underestimated how difficult Illustrator would be, and after many hours of tutorials and trial and error on the software, I found myself in full panic mode. The first part of the activities asked us to replicate a checkmark image. No, this is not the checkmark. We'll get to him later. This is the logo I created for my class. It shows a door I created with a rectangle and ellipse tools. I played around with the different ways to fill, using textures and colors to get the wood fill, and added signs. I then went to work on my infographic, which I chose to create a simple one centering around the Spanish interrogative words that all begin with the letter C. I used the web icons that were already created in Illustrator and stuck to colors all within an already created color swatch, which made it much easier to decide what works well together. Working with layers let me put the background color in. Finally, we came back to tackle my nemesis, the checkmark. I really struggled with figuring this one out and decided to reach out for help on Facebook of all places and found a former student who was a graphic designer who offered to come to my house and give me a tutorial. She was so helpful in teaching me layers, the pen tool, and the ink dropper to get the color just right. In thinking about what I'm taking away from this course, I could very easily say that I'm just now able to do things I couldn't do before, but I think that's putting things way too simply. More than being able to work with technology I haven't before, I learned the lesson that trial and error are key, and you will always have more questions than answers. You just need to keep at it. Going forward, I'm reminded that there is no end to the road. We never really arrive anywhere. It's not the completion of a class, and now I have all the answers. Technology is always changing, and it's near impossible to keep up. The most important thing to remember is that the answers are out there. You just need to ask the right questions and have an idea of where to look. Thank you.